Great to have you in the podcast. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Super excited to have you on the show. I think you and I were chatting a little bit before this recording. I originally started seeing your stuff through something with Danny Bernstein, who came on the podcast recently, and now I'm excited to chat. I have no idea how you got the DailyRobotics.com domain, but I bet there's a lot of jealous people out there that you're able to get that. And would just love, since it's your first time on the show, tell us a little bit about yourself and Daily Robotics, and then we'll go into a nice casual conversation.
Great, yeah, thank you. Maybe a little bit about myself and how I started Daily Robotics. So before Daily Robotics, I started a company called Imagery. Grew the company from 0 to 70 employees, raised more than $20 million of financing, and basically Imagery built vision-based self-driving cars. We were the first company to think of self-driving cars without maps. So thinking like a Tesla's approach, but we were there before Tesla, and then Tesla followed suit and did similar tech, I would say, to what we're doing, and they're doing well. They have their own IP. Imagery had their own IP. But 2 years ago, I wanted to do something more down to earth than self-driving cars. So I started, talking to farmers. I had a friend who's a farmer who told me you should look into farming. He had an organic regenerative farm of his own that he was building building to supply his friends with food, and did something called farm to fork, if you heard of this concept. So he invited me to his farms, and I got enchanted with farming. So I started, meeting other farmers all over the world, from California to China, like cold calling people, like cold calling and then telling them, I want to learn about the problems that you're facing. And then, understood the labor issue that farmers face, understood me coming also from a robotics background, from a machine learning background, understood that we're also at an inflection point in robotics. What we can do today with software is not the same what we could have done 5 years ago in terms of being able to give vision, like really advanced vision systems to robotics. So I wanted to build robotics for farming. This is how Daily Robotics started. We looked at three different problems in farming: weeding and harvesting, particularly selective harvesting, and plant care. We eventually chose selective harvesting to be our main technology, and then even narrow it down to one crop, strawberry, to start with one crop, strawberry. And there are three reasons why we started with strawberries, but I would love to go through the chat. So this is how we started, and today we are in final stages of testing of our flagship strawberry harvester Q2.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Why strawberries?
Three reasons. First of all, I love strawberries. I, I mean, I eat them all the time. I'm uh, I'm a low carb person, so I eat low carbs, and only legit fruit is strawberries in a low carb diet. So I love strawberries, but this is not enough. The three real reasons are: first, it's very selective, highly selective. You visit strawberries twice a week to pick strawberries, and once they're ripe, you have to pick them. You cannot wait because they'll become overripe and it will be too late. So it's highly selective, and the need is there for something to do to automate this task. The second reason is that strawberries have a large season. In California, they grow them in October. They plant them in October. They start harvesting them in March until November, or October, November. And you can even lengthen the season even more if you have more workforce. And third reason is that in the US, where our primary market is, strawberry market is concentrated in California, particularly in the areas south of San Jose until north of LA, which is like a few hundred miles area. You have 90% of US strawberries, and it's a very, very costly task. So all these areas makes it a very good beachhead, and this is what we looked at. Other crops, we looked at broccoli, but eventually we chose strawberries. We were very convinced that broccoli is a good business to begin with.
Well, anyone that's ever had strawberries will also realize that. I mean, you said once they're ripe, like you need to pick them because it seems like strawberries, unlike a lot of other like fruit, they can go from like ripe to overripe relatively fast, right? So it is very important to have them. They also seem to bruise like very easy. So like how difficult was it in terms of like just the setting, like making the settings like super delicate so that issues are limited to as few as possible?
Well, a lot of companies, I think before even building the tech for our Q2 strawberry harvester, we surveyed the market. We looked at all the solutions out there. I think we saw one prevalent approach, which is people would design like a very micro scissors so that goes and cuts the strawberries, cuts the stem. This is really nice, and but it's very limited to where you can see stems. In greenhouses, you can see the stems. Probably you can see the stems, but in open fields where most of them are, you can't see the stem. So we said, okay, we want to be able to pick them. So we went ourselves and started like learning how to pick strawberries. What's a hand motion to pick strawberries? It's basically you just catch the strawberry. You don't really squeeze it, and just pull it with the opposite force to the stem, opposite direction to the stem. So we learned this, and then we looked at other solutions. Others used vacuum or pneumatic approaches so that they will suck on the strawberries. These are very, very complicated. So from the get-go, we said, okay, we want to make a more natural solution that simulates two fingers. So instead of going for a very complicated solution, we did some kind of like a material science innovation. And we have a very simple gripper. It has two fingers. But the fact that those two fingers are larger than two fingers, like they're not as small as our two fingers, they're larger, like 8 centimeter radius each one of them. And because they're designed to be soft from a material point of view, so it doesn't matter how much you close, how force you close, it will never bruise them. So this is basically the patent. The patent that the heavy picking is on the algorithm to reach the strawberry and to encapsulate it and to avoid other strawberries while going there, and then just encapsulate it and move, and it will cut automatically. It will cut in a more natural way. It will leave the crown on, and all the stem will go away. All the stem will go away. This is actually what we learned from farmers. This is how they want it. This is how a human pick them, because if I leave the stem, then I have stem in the box, the collection box, and this stem will bruise other strawberries. So this is the drawbacks of the cutting method as well. Not only it's art and it's hidden, but it also affects makes like the batch itself not beautiful. Like when you go buy a Driscoll box, it's mostly you see only the crown.
So you told us a little bit about what excited you the most about this opportunity. You like strawberry. There's a couple factors. I love the fact that you're like, first of all, I love strawberries. That was the right answer to lead with, too. That's great. Where do you see this heading from here? Obviously, you've done a ton of work up until this point. You've had the phone calls. Like, what's an ideal situation from here for you? And what feedback are you constantly looking for to continue to improve from here as well?
From a technical perspective, we're, I would say, 90% ready to be commercial. We expect to be commercially available next year, next season, next California season, which is around March, April next year, 2026. The ideal situation that we deploy with California farmers, and we do a pilot maybe this year, preferably this year, but also next year will be great. This is the ideal situation. Currently, what we're studying, we have robots in a field right now, and we have robots in the office. So we're testing both in an office and in a field environment. What we're trying to do now, we increase the recall rate, which is out of like 100 strawberries that we see, how many we pick as a percentage, and how many we bruise or we damage. When we started testing, we were damaging 50% of the strawberries, just to give you like perspective. And now we're damaging only like 8 to 10% of the strawberries. And they're really, really minor damages. And it doesn't happen. It happens when other parts of the system hit the strawberries. Like the arm itself, when it's moving, it gets too close to the bed, it hits other strawberries. It's not even the strawberry that we're picking. It's just other strawberries. And they're minor. They're really minor. We're trying to reduce this rate up to a human level. We think maybe 95%. One of the most important things that we learned from other people's experiences in the strawberry market is that speed is what matters. A human being can pick a strawberry in under 4 seconds. This is the average. They can pick from 15 to 20 kilograms. Kilograms is okay, right? Saying kilograms. Do I have
You can say
to
kilograms. Yeah.
to make it in a pound? Almost like double that in pounds. And most of the existing solutions that were in the market were at 10% of the human speed. So it'd be 2 to 3 kilograms. So we said, no, this is not what we wanted to do. I met all the potential customers who used other strawberry harvesters, and I asked them this question: why you don't have hundreds of those? They said they're too slow. They're too slow. They're not commercially viable yet. So this is one of the main things that we made it really fast. Our robot has 2 robotic arms. Each arm is equivalent to human speed, can pick a strawberry in 4 seconds. So our robot is twice, but the hardware is even capable of doing more. Our hardware is capable of going to 3 times human speed. Currently, the software is what's limiting it, but it's at 2 times human speed.
I love it. It's going to be really exciting. Continue to follow along with the story with you, and would definitely love to have you come back on in the near future, especially as you continue to have more updates. Like whenever you want, just let me know. We'll set something up. But I love strawberries too, so I'm glad you decided to focus on strawberries. And I'd say most people like unless you're the apparently Tom Brady, the famous football player, doesn't like strawberries for whatever reason, but I think the vast majority of society does.
Yes.
Definitely keep us up to date if there's any updates or anything that you want to share, but really appreciate you coming on, telling us a little bit about the story. And I don't know about you, but I want strawberries right now after this conversation. So thank you so much.
We don't have them now here. We're done. We don't
That's
have
too
them. We're
bad.
done. We need to import them from California.
I'll eat some for you then. How about that?
Yes, double that.
I love it. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.